Welcome to Formosa Dream Chasers.
We're your hosts, Mary Ann
and Ching En.
Please join us as we explore the journeys amazing people take in pursuit of their dreams.
And get insights from their experiences.
Let's hit the road
and get started.
Welcome back to Formosa Dream Chasers. In part 2 of our conversation with Harry Swart, who is a musician, busker, and longtime Taiwan resident, we listened to Harry's experiences as he talks about the changes he had to undertake for him to be able to pursue his dream. So how would you describe the music that you play and what influences the music that you choose?
Okay, so for the most part, I first started collecting the songs that I would busk on songs that I remember from before, songs that I'd sing to myself, songs that stuck with me, really catchy things.
Okay.
And from when I was younger. My dad used to play me 60s, 70s, 80s music on a loop. So I have a lot of those, a lot of Beatles, a lot of older musicians that I'm very familiar with. And so like I have a musical ear, obviously. And so, you know, songs would get stuck in my heart, you know, and then I'd sing them to myself and they'd just stay with me forever. And I was weird, like all my friends would collect music, but I never collected music outside myself. I only collected it in my brain, and I looked back and I was like, it's weird. I don't have any music collection, but it's because I can just replay it in my mind. Like I can remember the music almost perfectly. So I had a CD player in my head that I could enjoy the music that I wanted to. But I also kind of robbed myself a little bit by not collecting music, because there's a lot of music I didn't know the name of. I didn't know the artist's name. I didn't know the track name. So I had to go and rediscover all of that. So I'm still on a journey now where I have songs in my head, but I can't remember the name of it, or I can't remember the. But there are apps for that now, right? But they're so far back that I have to hear them again before I remember about them. Anyway, so that's how it started. And then I discovered other music by the same artists. Then I started looking at Spotify, like what are popular songs in Taiwan and English songs that I could cover, you know, and then ever since I started busking now, obviously I'm looking at the crowd reaction, because what makes me happy is making people happy. So it's not about the technical side for me. I'm not picky about it. I'll play anything. Like I'll play K-pop's Golden, like K-pop Demon Hunters. I'll play that. I'll play Let It Go. I'll play any cheesy song as long as it makes people happy. And I think that's a barrier for a lot of musicians, because I've found like a lot of musicians are technically really good, but they're also very particular about what they want to play. And I'm a lot more willing to do music that they would cringe at, because they're just maybe too purist, you know? They want to do just their style of music, maybe their own stuff, or just one artist or whatever. So, because again, I'm empathic, so I can sense the crowd, and I can tell when people like something. So now I've collected a lot of songs that I know almost every time people will stop, they'll come back and come sit down and listen. And so I've got 20 or 30 of those now. But I can almost 80% of the time I'll get somebody to come and sit or stand around and take a video. Like Bruno Mars, you know, super popular. The Beatles are often popular. And, you know, it's just amazing to me how much Taiwanese people love live music. This is what I want to say. Old people, young people, single people, groups of people, couples, they all love live. There's not a Taiwanese demographic that doesn't love live music. It's just everybody loves live music. So I describe the music is anything that moves my heart and that fits my voice. That's close. That's approximately close to my message. You know, if it's a lady song about guys, maybe I won't do it. You know. But if it's loosely a song about beauty, or it's about romance, and I don't mind covering women's songs. There are lots of good versions. But it's about the message. So if it resonates with me and my voice can do it, you know, if I can find a pitch where it works really well and I can transpose it, then I'll do it. So I'm growing my music as fast as I can. I'm growing mostly covers, but I haven't made a habit of songwriting. I hope that will come.
Okay. It sounds like you have a very clear path that you would like to pursue then, and that's great. Going back to something you mentioned earlier about how you had to, if I may use the words, sort of get over yourself.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly right. Yes, you have to get over your ego, your negative ego.
Yeah, I'm really curious what made that mind shift, or how did you change that viewpoint to something more positive?
Well, you know what? It's very difficult to fix on its own level. You have to learn new skills. You have to learn new ways of thinking. It's like Einstein said, you can't solve a problem on the same level of thinking that the problem happened. So you've got to reset, you've got to reframe the problem, you've got to rearrange the way you use what you have. So one really breakthrough thing for me was learning how to stop thinking. Now that sounds strange, but if you know anything about meditation, or you ever heard about Zen meditation or anything like that, it's about no mind. It's about being able to be really conscious without inner dialogue, basically. So really super alert, but you're not mentally labeling anything. Now, that's something that's a lifelong journey to acquire, but just being able to do it a little bit is already life-changing, because your ego is like a chain of self-reactions. And if you can quiet your mind just for a little bit, it already interrupts that momentum, right? Because negative thoughts lead to negative thoughts, lead to negative emotions, lead to more negative thoughts. That's a vicious loop. And if you can just quiet the one part of that loop, then the emotional part can calm down. And remember, another important insight is we think what we feel. We don't feel what we think. Our feelings tell us what to think, not the other way around. We like to think it's the other way around, but we're emotional creatures first. And so your emotional condition is something that's subconscious. Yeah, so I had to learn about emotional intelligence, inner emotional intelligence, interpersonal emotional intelligence, understanding how other people feel, how I make other people feel. But you can learn as much as you like, but until you're able to quiet your mind, you'll still be a subconscious creature, because you'll be subconsciously led by your wounds, no matter what. In all your relationships, in all of your thoughts and actions, your wounds will define the decisions you make. So to be able to look behind your eyes into your heart, that's a whole journey. That's what spirituality is all about, really, is healing your heart, being able to survive in a cruel, crazy world that's unpredictable, and still have a whole heart that's loving and giving. That's what spirituality is all about. So one part of my spirituality, if I may, is meditation. So Eckhart Tolle was an amazing teacher. When I learned from Eckhart Tolle, his methods taught me how to quiet my mind, and then I was able to really be non-reactive to my ego, and I was able to really look at my ego without it coloring how I look at it. That, if I can explain it that way, like in a non-emotional, painful, reactive way, I could look at my wounds, and it took years and years.
I agree. We need to heal our wounds, because there are so many things that we ourselves do, or to ourselves, to create barriers, to limit ourselves.
For example, we choose toxic partners because that's what's familiar. Right?
Yes.
And now you're in a toxic relationship that feels familiar, but how are you going to follow your dreams now? You're unhappy. Right? So you can't even start following your dreams until you become a happy, whole person.
Yes.
So your dreams are wonderful, and often you have an amazing talent and you have an amazing gift that you can share with people, but you're too wounded to be able to offer it to anyone.
Right.
So that's how I feel, I feel like I've gone on this long journey now to get here to this point where I feel comfortable expressing my gift, and I feel comfortable with people liking what I'm doing. And a part of that is ego dissolution. I feel like this gift isn't really mine. Like, this is an amazing gift that I have for this time now. I'm going to die soon, and we're all going to die soon. Everything is temporary, right? So a part of the problem was that I took the gift so personally, as if it's me, as if people think I'm so great now. But it's not that. It's this thing that I have. This voice is just attached to me. Like, I didn't make it, right? I didn't earn it. It just landed on my lap, and it is a beautiful thing, and it is a gift, and people love hearing it, and I don't have a right to stand in the way of that. I don't have the right to hide it, right? If I could help people lift out of depression or brighten their day, it's my duty to offer that and not to keep it in my pocket, right?
Okay.
And
yes.
so I feel that way. I feel like it's my duty to, if I can make more people happy with singing than teaching, then I should do singing.
Okay. I understand. I appreciate you sharing all of that, and it's actually very enlightening and insightful. So, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this is what that's why I said I have a lot to say about these topics.
It's okay. It's great. I love having talks like this. I always learn something new. If we can go back to your busking, you mentioned that you started to do it consciously in the sense that you wanted that to push you to become more comfortable with attention.
Yes.
And do you remember what your first time busking was like? And do you mind sharing that experience with us?
Well, it's just like it's avoiding eye contact with people. Still afraid of being hurt. Still afraid of being judged. Still afraid of people laughing at me. You know,
Right.
afraid of looking homeless and ridiculous. And also just an irrational fear of not being liked. Because you have an inner dialogue that tries to keep you normal and sane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tries to keep you from embarrassing yourself. There's healthy anxiety, right? Like, you shouldn't just be too self-confident and walk around in your underwear, like you need some like self-restraint, right? But
Yes.
it's just overdeveloped in most people and unnecessary often. So anyway, yeah, my first time busking, geez, let me think. I think it's was right there at the Central Park MRT station,
Okay.
and I noticed right away it worked out. Right away, people started sitting around, listening to it, and and it just quickly, I noticed that people were really positive about it. And I started looking for people's reactions, and I started noticing way more reactions, than before. And I noticed that when people noticed that I noticed, it made them even happier. They're like, "Yeah, I love it," and that I love it. I was like, "Okay, this is great." And while I was busking, time just flies for me. Like I can literally, I'm not exaggerating, on Christmas Day, I busked for almost 5 hours, 4 hours and 40 minutes or something,
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
without stopping, without going to the bathroom.
Okay. Okay.
So, and my friend said, "You're overdoing it a little bit, bro." But I was just so, I just love, it's just like, let me just try to describe it to you. It's like there's a cycle. Like, basically there's the hook, where people notice you, and then they
Yeah.
stop, and they come back, and then there's a period where they hang around because they see, okay, this is voice. I want to hear what this voice is going to do next. Then they come back, and then they want to hear at least one song, and then while they're listening to that song, I'm hooking new people, right? So it's a constant leapfrog of these people get snagged. And then they listen for a while, and while they're listening, new people get snagged. So I never want to stop that, right? That's why I keep, I don't want to stop because I can notice the new people coming, right?
I see.
So as I'm going, I can notice new people showing interest. So anyway, that was just the baby stage of that. So I mean, I feel like I'm lucky to have the voice I have, and so I think it is easier for me, maybe than somebody who's playing an instrument, because my voice is unique, right? So it's an unfair advantage. Like, anybody could play the violin really well, but it's still, you could still listen to a recording of that, right? But my voice, nobody's ever heard it before. So like when they're hearing me, it's like they're hearing something for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives me a big edge. So yeah, my first experience was very positive, and
Okay.
it really made me feel validated, and I just slowly crawled out of my shell to the point where now I talk to people and I say hello to people, and I'm like, come stay here, listen to the next song,
Right.
So I feel like, so I'm much more engaging now. So yeah, I had a very positive experience with it.
How long have you been busking now?
I started last winter.
Oh, okay. So it's a relatively
Very new for me,
new.
yes. Very
Ah,
new. And this winter, I think I was procrastinating too much. I only started in the middle of November. I should have started sooner. I love it when the weather is cool, and
yeah.
I don't want it. I hate. So in the summer, I just like, oh, this isn't worth it. It's so uncomfortable. But there are indoor venues, so my plan is during the summer to do indoor, like shopping malls and stuff.
Right. Makes
So I've maybe buzzed 60 times now, if I have
okay.
to spitball it.
Okay. What is it like to busk in Taiwan? Are there rules and regulations you have to follow? And how do you pick the spot where you go and things like that?
About 6 years ago, they started regulating it. So until 6 years ago, there were no regulations. And 6 years ago or so, they started regulating it. So it's still very lax, the enforcement, because people just love live music. Like, for the most part, people are like, yay! Even the security guards and the police, they nod and they even tip me and stuff. So the first majority of my busks, I just showed up. That's my advice to young buskers as well, is just, among many other things, just show up. And the worst thing that can happen is somebody's going to come say, sorry, it's too noisy, or you're in the way of foot traffic here, or you can't do that here. Right?
Okay.
That's only happened to me twice. Out of 60
really?
times, yes. Out of 60 times, I almost always busked at a random place that had lots of people. And as long as there's not too much noise or foot traffic, as long as you're not next to somebody's house who calls the police or something, because you're noisy, whatever. I found as long as you're in a public place with lots of foot traffic and there's not some other band performing, that you're conflicting with, right?
Yeah.
I think it's fair game. And I think Taiwan is maybe the best place to do it. Because, first of all, it's super safe. You're not going to get robbed, okay? I bet in Thailand or the Philippines or any other poorer, so to speak, country, you're going to get robbed a lot because your money is in the open. And they can just wait for you to finish until you go to your scooter, right? That's the harsh reality in South Africa too, right? So you'd be much less safe in any other country than Taiwan. That's number one. Number two, Taiwanese people love live music, even if you're not very good. I mean, that sounds seriously. I've got lots of busking people. They're not very good at all, and the people sit around and they tip them and they follow them on Instagram. People are so enthusiastic and so encouraging.
Okay.
So even if you're not very good, even if you're early, you're still kind of practicing. Just get out there, because even if you make mistakes, they'll still tip you. They'll still say, nice, that sounds amazing. So whatever your instrument is, get out there and do it. And I was thinking, in a more regulated country like Japan or Korea, or no, not Korea. Korea is actually surprisingly very welcoming to buskers, by the way. In a very regulated country like Japan or Singapore, you will have to jump through a lot of hoops. So in Singapore, I've just looked this up. So in Singapore and Japan, they're very much more regulated and strict. So you couldn't do what I'm doing in Taiwan so easily, where you just show up in a place and just busk, and somebody doesn't show up and say, hey, that's illegal, you can't take money, you have to have a license for that, But I do have a license, and
Okay.
I am booking spots, and my wife is booking 3 months in advance now. Where all the festivals and events are, where there's lots of people, that's the key. As long as there's a special event going on in the area, you just go near the MRT there, and you'll have thousands of people flowing by. And so I think Taiwan is a really special place for busking. So, for real, yeah.
Have you busked in other countries?
Not yet, no, but I have a strong plan to go to Korea, because it's very easy to get a visa to go there. It takes 72 hours. So just 3 days before your flight, you can apply. And you just go with a tourist visa, and there are areas where international people go to busk, and nobody bothers them. Nobody bothers them about it. They can take tips, but it's not for money. I wouldn't go there to make money, because I can make good money in Taiwan, and it turns out it's about the same in Korea. And I'm already international here, right? I'm South African. I keep forgetting that, I'm not a local. People see me as I might as well be straight from another country, right? I might as well just have gotten off the plane yesterday, They don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would go to Korea, because lots of people get a big break when they go to Korea. And they do, because people are big fans of live music and busking there, so you could get a big Korean fan base and really boost your profile. So I would go there just for that, just to get a lot more Korean followers and get a lot more exposure to a really enthusiastic crowd.
Thanks for listening to today's program.
This is Ching and Cho.
And Mary Ann Shoko.
See you guys next week. Bye.